Hello and welcome to another kind of tutorial video. For this one I thought I'd just capture my whole entire desktop because I usually have the window's usually this small because I usually have a video running over here for like background noise and whatnot, so I can watch it on the side while I'm working, but for this sake we'll have nothing there. Just you'll see my cool background. So first off we're going to do lip sync. I'll show you how to do that. I actually don't have anything animated for the sake of showing you, but we'll pretend this part is animated and we'll do lip sync there.
People get thrown into the TV world.
So we'll run with that. So what I've done is I made a blank keyframe here and a blank keyframe here. So this is what we're going to be working with today. So what I usually start with is I usually start with all your closed mouths, and then we'll draw all the open mouths and then work in between. Because what a lot of people usually do, they usually run with a mouth chart. This is examples for a mouth chart. Because what a lot of animators do, what they'll do is they'll draw all their mouths in advance and then drag and drop, and then just work out their mouths accordingly. And that's why a lot of animators usually say, oh, lip sync is the most boring part of animation and blah blah blah. But I do it a bit differently. But you can use this for reference sake. There's a whole bunch of them. Hang on, I'll see. Yeah, there's a whole slew of them that you can check out. I just search for animation mouth chart. But yeah, I remember I used to use a mouth chart when I was very first starting out, but I don't really need to anymore. I remember what I actually used to do was I used to have a mirror in front of me, and I used to make mouths myself and then copy accordingly. So you can do that, or you can use your phone or whatever works for you. So we're gonna make all our closed mouths first. So we're gonna make keyframes accordingly. So peep, and then he'll have a closed mouth in between here and here, because you can see the audio accordingly. Sometimes there'll be like, obviously it depends on what you're making or what you're animating, but if it's a pre-existing clip, there'll be like music and like audio and like background noise, so it's a bit more difficult. But for this, it's just him talking, so it makes it a bit easier. So I'll make a blank keyframe there. So people
Get thrown. Get thrown.
So thrown, I probably want to start, because what we'll do here, we'll make a closed mouth where his teeth are kind of coming from a smaller. Make it so these teeth are going from smaller to larger here and here. Also, sorry if you can hear some background noise. My neighbors decided to use a chainsaw for hours, so sorry if you can hear that.
Thrown into the TV.
The TV. So I'll do a keyframe here, and then I'll work with this audio here.
Thrown into the TV.
Thrown
into the TV.
Into the
Into the TV.
Oh, the TV. I'll see.
The TV. The TV.
Oh, that's where he says the. Okay. Into.
Into the.
Okay, so I'll make a keyframe here. That's alright.
Into the TV. The TV.
The, and then he says
TV. V world.
V world.
World.
Okay, I'll make a keyframe
World.
here.
World.
Okay, so that should be right. So those are all our closed keyframes. So we want to do mouse accordingly. So I'll I'll actually make this a bit different color so it's easy to differentiate because I'm going to make this black, so I'll make it a bit lighter blue. Hopefully it's still easy to see on video, but that's alright. Actually a bit lighter blue than that. Not that it really matters, but still. Oh, actually that might blend in way too much. Green? That's alright. Should be able to see that. Actually, I can check. Hang on. Yeah, it should be fine. Okay. So I'll give him a closed mouth here. Actually, when does the scene change? Oh, okay, no, it doesn't matter. There's no scene change. But for the sake of him just starting with a closed mouth, I'll make a keyframe here. So imagine this is where like the scene cuts, and he'll start with a closed mouth. So we can draw over that original closed mouth, like that.
People.
So peep, and then we do another closed mouth. People. People. Yeah, I usually like say the word myself so I can figure out like the way my mouth would move accordingly with the scene. People. So get. I think get would be like closed, and then the T would get. Yeah. So we'll do a small closed mouth here. I could do a bit better than that. There we are. And with closed mouths, I usually just do it Ninja Turtle style. Just have it closed like that. I don't go full. Like you don't need to be too detailed with teeth because it's going to be on screen for what 1/24th of a frame or 1/25th of a frame. So we want to make it a little bit bigger for this one. So we're just going to make this one a little bit bigger. Like that. And just for a reminder for myself, I usually just write. Because we're going to go back through and we're going to figure out the open mouths. This is a note for myself being like, don't draw an open mouth, otherwise you'll mess it up. Yeah, I could do like a symbol or something, but I usually just write N or like no, or put an X or something. Okay, turn that off.
Get thrown.
It's alright, I can do a closed mouth for that one. In the so it has a T sound, so we're going to do a closed mouth with teeth. TV world, that's fine, I can do just a class move with that. Yeah, I know a lot of animators do like a more advanced like mouths with closed, sometimes like, biting their lips or whatever, but I usually just do like, these two, either regular closed mouth or closed mouth with teeth. TV world. Yeah, so because he's going to do like an O mouth, I'll do like a very small mouth. Got to kind of like anticipate what kind of mouth they're going to movement they're going to make outwards. And with a finishing mouth like that. Okay, so then we go through again and we do all our open mouths. So P. So we'll do keyframes between the two mouths so we can figure out exactly where we need to make them in the middle. Yeah, because he's going to move there, but there's no animation, but still. So P, I'll do like a wide amount because he's making an E sound. People. Kind of like a square O mouth. More of a round O mouth actually. There we are. People get. So I'll make an E sound here. Make it slightly wider than his mouth he has already. And every time I do a mouth with teeth, or an open mouth with teeth, hang on, let me just redraw that. Kind of messed up the line there. What I do is I do the top row. I always get with teeth, so then the teeth can close and open as he speaks, so they don't just suddenly just come out of nowhere. Because otherwise he'll open his mouth, then teeth will slam down, and then suddenly disappear. It'll be kind of weird. People. Oh, that's right. No open mouth there. Right. I forgot. Throat. And because this is kind of like a more a longer open mouth, I'll make it a bit wider. Throat. Yeah, and because it's going from a closed teeth mouth to an open mouth. Do another teeth at the top. Thrown in. Into the. Into the. Into the. Okay. Yeah, and usually if it's the smaller, the less space you have to work with to animate with the mouth, you usually want to make it smaller, because the less it's going to pop up, so I'll make this one kind of small. Because you don't want a giant mouth going from like one frame to the next, unless it calls for it, for the sake of it being like, rapid paced or whatever. Where's my mouse? There we go. Into the. So we'll go the, and I won't worry about if the mouse end up moving around. I can always fix it up later when I actually do animation for this part. Or I can redo this whole entire lip sequence. That's fine, because it usually doesn't take long. Oops. The TV. So we'll go E. More space to work with here, so we want to make it kind of wider. The T. The TV. V. I'll make it kind of smaller and a bit wider as well, because it's kind of making an E sound. There we go. V world. World. And that's all right, we'll just go with that, that's fine. Yeah, so now that we've done all the open mouths and all the closed mouths, it looks like this.
People get thrown into the TV world.
Yeah, so now all you really got to do is you got to do your in-betweens accordingly, and then it should be done, more or less. Yeah, I'll get rid of this. Get rid of that. Yeah, more or less you just got to go in between. And usually what I do with the way I animate lips is that with how it, oh, how do I explain this? When it's open, that's like the shortest point of animation. So you want to go from when it's closed and add your in-betweens accordingly to when it's open, and vice versa in reverse. So for example, if I was to animate this mouth here, what I do is I do a frame here, frame here, frame here, and then in reverse. So I do a frame here, frame here, frame here, frame here. So I'll show you what that looks like real quickly. So we'll do in between here, and then we'll go draw in between here. Like so. Like that. And usually with the bottom teeth, I usually leave it like, 1-2 frames, and then it eventually disappears. Like the top teeth are the ones that have to kind of stay around for a bit until the mouth ends up closing again. And then we draw a mouth here. I'll actually draw one there, so on the next frame it'll disappear, yeah, like that. And then we do the same thing, but in reverse. So you usually want to get close to the open mouth, or closer to the open mouth as you can, versus the closed mouth. So we'll draw a little teeth line here. Draw a little teeth line here. And the same with this frame as well. Yeah, so this way the mouth kind of like pops open every time he says a word. And that's usually what I found that works best with lip syncing. So now it looks like this.
People get thrown into the.
Yeah, so here we go.
People get thrown into the.
Yeah, and then you do that with all the rest of these. The only thing you should do differently is when he completely stops talking, that's when you want to slow it down. So that's what I usually do with whenever a character speaks. Like when they usually start, it's fine for it to animate as is, but then at the end you want to slow it down. So for example here, what I do is I make a keyframe here, and then I'd slow it down at the very end. So for example, I'd draw a frame here, and then here, and then here. Yeah, because he's speaking is coming to a stop. So
World.
I'll animate the rest of that. It shouldn't take too long. I can always speed it up in post if I want to, but yeah, it's just drawing circles. Yeah, usually lip syncing there has really bothered me because it's more or less it's really basic shape wise. Like characters take forever, but lip sync easy peasy. Usually takes no time at all. Like I'm already halfway done with this already. Oh my goodness. Oops. Yeah, I'm gonna put that over there. Okay, and then we just do it again in reverse for the other side. Yeah, now if a character is talking like does a mouth movement that's way too long, you can start using twos. That's what I do sometimes rather than ones, because sometimes it takes forever. There we are. Cool. Okay, now it should look like this.
Okay. People get thrown into the TV world after they appear on TV.
Hang on. It kind of messed up there.
TV world.
Yeah, you see there?
World.
You see it kind of slows down at the very end.
World.
Yeah, so more or less you'd go through the rest of these and then just do the exact same thing I did just then accordingly. So I'll pause here and then I'll come back and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so that's done. So I've gone through and I've done in-betweens between all the mouths accordingly, and it now looks like this.
People get thrown into the TV world after they appear on.
Hang on, it's lagging a bit.
People get thrown into the TV world. People get thrown into the TV world.
So you can see each mouth movement kind of like pops open accordingly. So now all we need to do really is just fill in accordingly. So it's black for open mouths and white for the teeth. So we just go through accordingly, filling in. Not too difficult, but as there's more lip sync, just the longer this takes. We do all those. Oop, missed one. Yeah, and then we just go back the other way and we fill in the teeth. And there's usually less teeth than open mouth, so it usually takes less time to do that. Oop, there's one. Do both those. Do that one, that one. And then all these. Oop. Don't want to do that, that'd be unfortunate. And there we go, and now it should look like this.
People get thrown into the TV world after they.
I know why my computer does that.
People get thrown into the TV world after they.
Yeah, more or less, you get the idea. I'll scrub through it slowly.
People get thrown into the TV world.
Yeah, so that's more or less a completed a mouth sequence. So yeah, that's more or less all there is to lip syncing. Not too difficult the way I do it. Yeah, honestly, the other way that people do it, copying pasting, I guess they save more time in the long run, but it's more boring. I don't know. I've never done it like that. This is the way I've always done it. So yeah, hopefully you find